Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
Office Bloke Aidan.
Okay, one of our quests to do in life is to retire into the USA.
Yes.
And our go-to channel to find out a lot of stuff about the USA, well, World According to Briggs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gives us a breakdown of a lot of stuff that we don't really need to know sometimes about schooling and things like that. We're not really interested in. We don't have any kids at school anymore.
No.
But one of the videos he's done here is 10 best small towns you've never heard of. I wonder if we have.
My dream is to live in a small town.
Yeah, I know.
That's boring.
No, it's
There ain't
not.
no room for two of us in this small town.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I want to live in a town where it's just got, I don't care if it's got like, it'd be nice with two, I need 2 bars at least because I'll probably get barred from one. No. So I need 2. And then the rest I'm not asked about. as long as it's shop that you can buy stuff from.
No, I'd like
I feel like
a
you'd get
little
bored,
cafe where you can go in the morning, have your coffee.
You're like a village, don't you? Like
watch
High
the
Street,
world
Main
go
Street.
by.
So like got all the sort of like your regular go-to stores, but that's pretty much will do me.
Where you walk down the street and you're like, hey, Bob.
What, Bob
Hey,
don't live there?
Hank.
What if that's not the names? And they're all going like, that's a weirdo that keeps calling me Hank. My name's Dave. Anyway, let's get into this. 10 best small towns you've never heard of.
Welcome back to the World According to Briggs and a video about some amazing small towns in the US you've probably never heard of. Obviously, if you're from one of these towns or the area, you know about these towns. Not everyone does, and that's why we're taking a look at them. The United States is filled with amazing small towns. In my experience, the vast majority of them you're gonna find in New England or the southern states. Midwest is no slouch either, but once you start getting out west where there's fewer people and not as many small towns, it gets harder and harder to find a great small town. As we go through this list, if you live in one of these small towns, we would love to hear about it in the comments section, or maybe in a future podcast with us. Alright, before we get going, please hit that like button, let us know which one was your favorite. Let's take a look.
Wolfboro.
It's a cool
Number
name.
10, Wolfboro, New Hampshire. Wolfboro, New Hampshire has a long history and a special title, the oldest summer resort in America. This
Look how gorgeous that looks with the trees and the
Doesn't it?
lake. And
Does.
place started to become popular way back in the mid-18th century. You know, the place has been around a while when drunk old men at the bar couldn't even exchange Revolutionary War stories because it hadn't happened yet. This is a beautiful small town that sits right on Lake Winnipesaukee, and it's easy to see why people have loved coming here for a very long time. Back in the day, the Prince and Princess of Monaco or Grace Kelly used to vacation here. Wow. Kurt Vonnegut, Jimmy Fallon has been known to go here. The Mariette family has a vacation property here. And Drew Barrymore and her family have been coming here for years. The town only has about 6,800 people living there like full time. That's a low enough population where they can maintain that
nice.
small town old time charm. Many people own second homes here just for vacation, which tells you it's a pretty great place to take a break. It's not just about relaxing here. Wolfboro has lots to do. For those who love being outside, there's the Cotton Valley Rail Trail for hiking and biking. If you're into boats or history, check out the New Hampshire Boat Museum and the Wright Museum of World War II. There's also the Libby Museum of Natural History for those that are curious about the natural world. You know, I remember going to museums like that when I was a kid, before we had the internet and all that. You know, you can just find all the information you need, but I always found it amazing going to natural history museums and things like that. The town's rep as a summer hotspot got a big boost in the 19th century when they built the Pavilion Hotel and the railroad came to town. If you look at the population of any small town or any city in the United States, whatever decade you see a big boost in the population, I guarantee that's the year the train came to town. But that train changed everything for Wolfboro, making it easier for more people to come and enjoy the place. Living or spending time in Wolfboro is pretty special. It's not just about the historical sites and the natural beauty. It's also about that small community lifestyle, the parks, the beaches, and all the cultural stuff that make life a little rich and full. Whether you're here for a short visit or the long haul, Wolfboro has a way of capturing people's hearts, and it's obvious. People don't buy second vacation homes just to buy one.
I wonder how busy it'll get though.
what, in the summer?
Yeah. I don't like going to these small towns when they get packed.
Yeah.
Because it ruins
like
it.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it ruins the sort
Do you
of
know
like
what it reminds me of though? I know that it's not the same, but it reminds me of Lincroft in New Jersey.
Yeah,
the
I know what you mean.
houses are very similar,
Yeah.
and the way it's set out.
Yeah, Lincroft was a nice little village,
Yeah.
nice little town.
Yeah.
Maybe it's number 1.
Could be. Not anywhere in New Jersey is going to be there.
One. They always buy it in a place they love.
Do you know where my go-to place was when we lived in New Jersey? Where I loved it, and it was like a real hot spot for me to go. And we used to go all the time. And I used to always say, let's go there. Whenever you said, where do you fancy going? I always go, boom, there.
Wow.
Red Bank.
Yeah, but
Loved it.
Yeah.
It's a great little spot. Had the river, had the bar scene, had the restaurants, it had everything going for it. Red
Yeah.
Bank.
Yeah.
It was a real top,
Yeah,
really
well-
cool town.
Yeah. When we lived in Lincroft, it was only down the road.
Yeah, Red Bank was my go-to place. I loved it. Shipshewana.
Number 9, Shipshewana, Indiana. Shipshewana is a charming small town filled to the rim with Amish and Mennonite people. This is a very small town that had a population of 658 residents in 2010 that jumped up to 839 in 2020. This tiny town offers a glimpse into a simpler
What?
life that harks
It's the
back
what's
to
it?
the essence of the American.
It's the
Amish.
Amish.
It's a horse.
Yeah, but that's
No,
the,
but they
you
don't- they
you don't
don't-
work on electricity or anything like that, or
Yeah, I know what I am.
motors. Yeah,
Don't they have like no internet and like they just
nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just live very simple lives. Feed off the
Midwest.
land.
The town's name comes from its indigenous heritage, being named after a local Potawatomi Indian, and it's maintained a functioning post office since 1889, further anchoring the
Do you reckon they're incest?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sense of historical continuity, spanning a modest 1.18 square
Somewhere down the
miles
line
of
anyway,
land.
yeah.
Shipshewana is a picturesque enclave of peace and tradition, untouched by the sprawling development seen in much of the country. It's like every time they go to build a new housing area in this state, they skip past Shipshewana. Which, if you talk to the locals, they're fine with that. This town even has a Amish and Mennonite museum, a beacon for visitors seeking to understand the history and lifestyle of the Amish and Mennonite communities. I find those people interesting. I was just talking about it on a live stream. I talked to them a couple times on Amtrak trains. They always ride the Amtrak. So when you go here, it's more than just a place on the map. It stands as a living museum of traditions and tranquility. Whenever you have Mennonites and Amish, things are a little bit slower, not like the fast-paced modern world. They don't hang out in those areas. So if you want a slower life, find out where the Amish are living. You don't have to live in their community, but just the area tends to be a little bit slower.
Not for me.
So basically, they just live like they're still in the 1920s.
I think before that, innit?
Yeah.
I don't know what dates they date back to.
It reminds me of Little House on the Prairie.
I don't know much about them, so I can't really.
I've seen a video about one.
I'm not in a position to comment about them really.
Yeah.
It was like a Nelt video, and they like went to an Amish town and got one of them and took them over to like Miami or something.
Yeah,
They do that.
Spend the night out with
they,
them.
They did a switch, didn't they, to see if what they preferred. I watched a show where they.
It wasn't nothing like that.
It wasn't. So I watched a show where they, I think it was like 5. It might have been on MTV. They took 5 Amish, and then put 5 regular people and did a switch to
Regular?
see. Well, non-Amish. What do you want me to call them? Regular people. And then seeing which they prefer, and they thought that the Amish would go back to the way that but quite a few of them.
They're allowed to take like a time out, aren't they, from being Amish? I think you can go from I think you can leave and go on like a. We were watching
Like a
something the other day that
sabbatical,
they mentioned
maybe.
something where you can go out and live your normal life, and then go back to being Amish when you're ready, sort of thing. But it's kind of like
I think all the other Amish would like. You'd be frowned upon, I reckon, by the other ones.
I think it happens. I think
I think the thing
in
is,
the
if
modern
you're
world,
young,
you've got
if you're a sort of 18, 19-year-old, and then you've lived this life, and then all of a sudden you're going partying and drinking and doing all the stuff that you normal 18, 19-year-olds do, they probably want to stay like that for a while. But I think if you take somebody probably in the 50s,
Yeah, they might not,
they'd be
going
like,
back.
I'm going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you've got is a lot of different religions and beliefs across the world. All do things that other people might think are a little bit unusual.
Yeah.
You know, we do stuff
I
in
remember it was
Christianity
like-
where we think people might look at us and go, "What are you doing?" Like go to church. No, no, but these things that people do where you look at stuff and they'll say, why'd you do that? It's
Yeah.
like a bit unusual, but you say that's my
And then
culture.
they were watching like an NBA game, and the Amish guy like refused to look at the TV.
Really?
Yeah, type of thing. It's like I can't. It's against my thing. Like
My faith.
yeah.
Faith or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Number 8, Lanesboro, Minnesota. Lanesboro is a hidden gem tucked away in the scenic Root River Valley. Now, it's just up the river a bit from D-Cup. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I aim to find out. Looks like I need to plan a trip to Minnesota. Known for its breathtaking natural beauty and deep historical roots, this small town is a cultural haven that draws visitors from all over. In 2013, Lanesboro was recognized as one of the top 12 small town art places in the nation by Art Place America, a testament to its dense concentration of art organizations, businesses, and creative professionals. It's not just about the arts, though. Lanesboro is a hub of activity all year round, hosting a variety of events such as the Art in the Park Festival, Buffalo Bill Days, and the Rhubarb Festival, which celebrates its title as
Sounds like a blast.
Don't like
I love
rhubarb.
rhubarb.
Rhubarb capital of Minnesota. I mean, everybody knows Lanesboro's legendary for rhubarb. I mean, that goes way back. I think they talked about it on Jeopardy one night. I'm totally kidding. I know nothing about rhubarb or the people eating it. With a population of just over 700 residents, the town offers a cozy and welcoming atmosphere for both residents and tourists. This place is a safe place to be, also. Their violent crime rate is 10% below the national average. They have so little crime, when something happens, they know it's one of two people. Or both, Chucky or Pete with the lazy eye. They go round those two up and the crime is solved. They got good schools, too, here in Lanesboro. It's a really nice place to live. When it's not snowing, because, yeah, this is Minnesota, you could always take a bike ride on the Root River State Bike Trail. Whatever goes all the way up to D-Cup. You got something to do no matter what the season. Biking, hiking, skating, fishing, tubing, canoeing. I didn't grow up here, but it honestly seems like a really great place to grow up.
Seems a little bit out there to me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit too small.
Number 7, Little Compton, Rhode Island. You know, if I was the mayor of Little Compton, I think the first thing I would do in serving the people of my community is get rid of the name Compton. You know, it always...
I was just going to say, you'll have to have...
Straight out Compton.
Yeah, straight out of Little Compton.
Yeah, that one.
Right? Straight out of Little Compton RI. On t-shirts, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
sucks when something not related to you just messes with you and ruins something for you. I mean, Compton, California has gotten better, but it has such a bad reputation. This thing's all the way across the country. It's got the word Compton, and that's the first thing people not from the area think about is Compton, California. Little Compton, Rhode Island is a charming and historic coastal town with a population of about 3,400 residents. This adorable small town was originally home to the Sakonnet Indians, before being incorporated into the Plymouth colony in 1682. By 1747, Little Compton became a part of Rhode Island and is known for having the state's only official town common, which is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Amazing! Little Compton is awash with landmarks that reflect its long-standing heritage and natural beauty. They've got a lot of old buildings here, including the Sakonnet Point Lighthouse. It was first lit in 1884 and meticulously restored in 2012. They also got Fort Church, which is a World War II structure named after Benjamin Church. Little Compton's Historical Society was founded in 1937. And they are obviously the driving force behind a lot of this restoration that goes on here. They got a YouTube channel. I watched a couple of videos. It was really interesting. I normally hate mentioning like historical societies or anything about any town because they get on my comment section or they send me emails listing like, it's always like 50 minor details I should have mentioned when I was talking about the town. I mean, they mean well, but they just sort of sometimes remind me of those Star Trek people. They're just super obsessed with this, very interesting thing that they're into. I always got to tell them, yeah, thanks for the information, but that's a 15-minute video. What you're talking about is a 2-hour video about Fort Church. But Little Compton is a beautiful small town.
It's nice, isn't it?
They have an old cemetery in town, and if you want to, take a stroll through history, go look at some of the dates on those headstones there. It's very interesting. It's far enough away from the bigger cities where it's just a relaxing place to be. I mean, it's south of Fall River and west of New Bedford. It's also right across the water from Newport, kind of. So if you want to go to Newport, you got to almost drive all the way up to Fall River and then come back down.
I've been to Marietta.
Ohio.
Number 6, Marietta, Ohio. With a population of about 13,000 residents, this Ohio town stands as a historical beacon for Ohio. Founded in 1788 as the first permanent settlement of the Northwest Territory. Yeah, I think at the time they really weren't too clear on how far west this country went. They could have called it the middle of the road territory and it would have made a lot more sense. And even today, this is where majority of the middle class America lives, the Midwest. This town has some very interesting origins, including indigenous people, notably the Hopewell culture. In the 18th century, French explorers laid claim to this area, and eventually George Washington ventured through, setting the stage for New England settlers to call Marietta their home. Now, what's funny is I've heard people call it Marietta, where they actually pronounce the A. Then I've heard other people call it like Mariette. I always thought that was a little baffling. One time I called a friend who's from that area in Ohio. I asked him what the deal with that was, and what's the proper pronunciation. He said, "Did I tell you I'm going through a divorce?" And then we got talking about that and never gave me an answer to the burning Marietta question. Today, Marietta is a great place to visit with tons of activities and sites for history buffs and outdoor enthusiasts. If you do visit, look up this thing called Hidden Marietta. It's interesting. They got the Ohio River Museum. During the summer, though, this is when you want to go visit. Maybe you'll move in after that. Winters can get rough, but the summers are amazing. You can go kayaking, you can go for a bike ride, you can go see a castle.
Looks
Another
nice, though.
great thing about living here or visiting here, it's almost the furthest you can get away from Toledo and still be in Ohio. Unlike most places in Ohio, Marietta has a crime rate that is 22% lower than the national average, and their violent crime rate is 80% below the national average. They have a lot of pretty good festivals here in Marietta. The Ohio River Sternwheeler Festival and Rivers Trails and Ales Festival celebrate the local community spirit with outdoor activities and craft beer. How could you go wrong with that?
Vermont, my favourite.
Number 5, Shelburne, Vermont. Shelburne, Vermont has a population a little over 6,000 residents. And that population is a little bit older than average, with a median age of 49.2 years. A lot of retirees are here, I guess. Over 70% of the people living in Shelburne are married. The national average is about 61. Nestled along the picturesque shores of Lake Champlain is where you're going to find Shelburne, and it's a quintessential New England town with a twist. Its roots stretch all the way back to 1763. Now it's grown into a pretty vibrant community. This is also where you'll find the world-famous Vermont Teddy Bear Factory. Now, I've mentioned that in a...
I have 2 of those.
We've got 2 Vermont teddy bears.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. But it's we've been to Lake Champlain, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if we've ever been to Shelburne.
No,
Doesn't sound familiar.
I think we just went to, what's it called?
Manchester.
We went to Manchester, Vermont.
But that was where we drove to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder where we stayed. I can't remember where we stayed. I think we drove to Manchester, Vermont, just for pictures of Welcome to Manchester type thing.
I can't remember the name of the state.
But we found the cider, the woodchuck
Wasn't it
cider.
Hope, was it?
No, Hope was New Jersey, on the Pennsylvania border.
Yeah, but was it not? Is it not Hope, Vermont as well?
Don't remember that.
No.
Can't remember. I'll have to dig out old photos when we went. It was only me and you because we were pre-kids.
Yeah.
When we were happy.
past video that it was here, and I had some people giving me grief that it's actually outside of town, not in town. It's 1.7 miles from downtown Shelburne. That's a 4-minute drive. It's in Shelburne. If you do visit, make sure you go to the Flying Pig bookstore. They got vineyards, they got a golf course, and it's on Lake Champlain. How could you go wrong? It's a little expensive though. I mean, back in 2016, the median household income was $98,000. Now it's about $140,000. So if you want to buy a house here, you better have some change set aside.
Syria.
Number 4, Damascus, Virginia. Damascus is also dubbed Trail Town, USA, and it's a treasure tucked away in Washington County, celebrated for its ease of access to a plethora of outdoor adventures. That's what their website says, a plethora of outdoor adventures. This charming town is a paradise for those who love the great outdoors. It's a beautiful area. If you've never been to this part of Virginia, you need to. It's a great place to visit. It's been a few years since I've been there, probably 12, but it's right there in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's not too far from the Tennessee border. That's like right down the road. And if you go east, southeast, I guess you could say, you'll find North Carolina border. I have an Army drill sergeant that I had many, many years ago. He worked for the school district out this area. That's not a plus for the town. That's actually a negative. Stay away from angry bald men that have a sour disposition about everything. And you should be fine. There's a lot of hiking and a lot of, just going for nice walks in the woods around here. The Virginia Creeper Trail and the Appalachian Trail are right here for you, and they draw in hikers, bikers, and nature lovers from near and far. The Virginia Creeper Trail offers a 34-mile journey. from Abingdon to White Top. I think I pronounced that right. I've never been to Abington. Abing, done, Abingdon. Anyway, the Appalachian Trail is a whole lot different. That's about 2,000 miles. And it stretches from Maine to Georgia right through Damascus. So if you've ever hiked the Appalachian Trail, you've been through Damascus. While you're there, stop by the Damascus Brewery. This is a beautiful town if you want to be in a rural area and just get away from everyone. The good news is the cost of living here is lower than the national average and home prices are reasonable. There aren't a lot of homes for sale here. This isn't a really big place. I mean, their population is only about 700, 800 people. That's it.
Small.
So houses don't come on the market all the time. But if you look at the outskirts, I'm sure you could find something.
Hawaii.
It's going to be nice, isn't it?
Number 3, Paia, Hawaii. This is a cute little town you will find on Maui, on the North Shore to be more specific. And if you're single, it's a good place to be. Only 54% of the residents are married, and the median age is only 40.3. Now this town's been around quite some time, but it was a bustling sugarcane operation back in the day, and in the 1970s it was a hub for hippies, eventually becoming a more cosmopolitan village. Even though this is a small, out-of-the-way town, it's a tourist town, just like every place in Hawaii. So when you're judging a town by their tourism, it's like this chart. Are they all about tourism, or is that just part of their economy, or is it just a small part of their economy? This seems to be more of a small part of their economy.
Whenever I look at Hawaii, it never looks like I imagine it to look.
Same. I know what you mean. We've got friends in Hawaii, haven't we?
Yeah.
Why?
And
What do you imagine
Hawaii.
to look like?
I know what you're talking. You're talking more like an Ibiza sort of like vibe of like beaches, but golden sands and blue skies and palm trees and.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does have them, but sometimes when we see videos,
by the water, it's like that. But when you kind of come back a few blocks,
you're thinking
it's a bit
high-rise hotels.
What?
Yeah.
It just looks like America again.
No,
it just looks
just like
underwhelming. It's not
a
like
bit Cape Verde.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a bit Cape Verde sort of like esque of not. You know, you've got the stretch down the front, but nothing behind it. It's kind of what some videos I've seen. I thought the same.
Yeah.
I thought it's kind of not what you expect, but I guess if you go to certain parts of Hawaii, it's going to be like what you're talking about.
I imagined it to be a lot more sort of holiday like with
That's what
hotels.
Honolulu probably is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I imagine certain places are, but certain places are very probably a bit more exclusive, if you want, and a bit more, residential. But it's one of them places, Hawaii. It's just very far to get to.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's
it seems.
probably the
Is it
furthest
worth
place
it?
But the thing is, it's worth living there because nobody comes.
What do you mean nobody comes?
Well, you don't get loads of visitors.
Yeah, you won't get family visitors.
Probably start feeling a bit lonely and be like, oh, no one wants to visit me.
I'd be quite happy with that. I'd be alright with that.
Yeah, I know you would.
People actually live here and have normal lives without selling t-shirts and shaved ice, even though they do have a shaved ice place here. What is the deal with Hawaiians and shaved ice? I had a little Snoopy shaved ice thing when I was a kid. I never thought about going into business with it. Now, it is the North Shore, so if you like to surf, this is a great place to do it. It's got, the entire town surrounded by lush tropical landscapes. It's Hawaii. You really can't go wrong. The downside is, it is Hawaii. It's going to be expensive both for housing and just normal cost of living. So keep that in mind.
Natchitoches.
Number 2, Natchitoches, Louisiana.
This
is a great.
How did you say it?
I know I wasn't going to, but I just...
Natchitoches.
It's
That's how you would've
it's
said,
called
that's how
something
you
different at the bottom now.
Yeah.
See how they pronounce it.
You'd say, wouldn't you?
Number 2, Natchitoches, Louisiana. This is a great
Natchitoches.
small town. It is the oldest settlement in the Louisiana Purchase. You will find this in central Louisiana, far away from places like New Orleans and Shreveport. It's in Louisiana, so they're going to have some crime. Not as bad as, like I said, Shreveport and New Orleans and Baton Rouge, but they do have some crime. It's 80% above the national average. That is not horrible when you look at some of the other major cities in the United States, like St. Louis with like 150% above, Detroit.
Wow.
That's how I imagine Bourbon Street to look.
Yeah.
Like, it's I know we passed through New Orleans very quickly on our way to Texas when we were driving. So like I know people say that's not on the way. Everything was on the way. We diverted everywhere you can think of, zigzagging and going all different places. But when I think Bourbon Street, I'm thinking that packed with people with the beads and and all that kind of stuff. And I imagine it's during Mardi Gras. That's the same image I get. Yeah. That French, French colonial
Crime's
type.
very high though.
It is, isn't it?
Detroit with like 400% above. Chicago's got areas where it's like 600% above the national average. Memphis is like 480% above the national average. So 80% isn't horrible.
Yeah.
Natchitoches is a beautiful town. They have the National Historic Landmark District here, which includes French Creole townhouses, the Minor Basilica, which has stained glass windows that are amazing. They have one of the oldest general stores still going in the nation right now, Cafe Frederick Mercantile, and it still looks like an old general store. Now, this one almost is too big to be a small town. It's actually close to being considered a town. It's got about 17,000 residents. But it is out there in the middle of Louisiana, away from all the other big cities, so it's kind of nice. You have the Red River not too far from town. They got a lake right there in town. The Old River flows right through town. It's a nice place. You'll also find Northwestern University here. Go Demons.
I've always wondered where that was.
I thought Northwestern was in Illinois.
I mean, I thought it was going to be in the Northwest.
It depends northwest of where. Could be the northwest of your town.
No, I know, but you wouldn't call it. You would call it like Northwestern Louisiana then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's,
I thought it was in like Idaho or something.
I thought Northwestern was in Illinois.
Damn, I did not think it was in Louisiana.
Learn something every day.
All right, if you're thinking about moving to one of these towns, there's a link for a website called Home and Money in the description area below. You can click on that link. They'll take you to a website that'll help you get your home.
Davis,
Oklahoma.
And number 1, Davis, Oklahoma. At about the midway point between Oklahoma City and Dallas, Texas, you will find Davis, Oklahoma, right near the Chickasaw Nation. This small town sits on the Oklahoma prairie, just waiting for a tornado. They do have a sonic drive-through, so that kind of makes the danger of a tornado acceptable. They have a population of about 3,000 people, and get this, the median age here is 35 years old. A lot of young people here. The city has a rich history, having been named after Samuel H. Davis, who moved to the area in 1887. Davis played a pivotal role in the establishment of the town, petitioning for a train depot, Santa Fe Depot actually, and a post office, which ultimately led to the town's development. By 1900, Davis had become a hub of cotton farming and had a variety of businesses and professional services, most of them surrounding the transportation and the production of cotton. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Oklahoma, by a lot of people, is considered a southern state. A lot of other people don't consider it a southern state. They're very proud of their southern heritage here in this part of Oklahoma. And the city or town prides itself on its southern hospitality. Now, when it's things like this, I always look up what is there to do in this area. And, you know, there's some things to do. They have a river and these people go fishing. A lot of camping is done here. But they also are into ATV and motorcycle riding. They have this thing called the Crossbar Ranch Off-Road Park. I don't know what's going on there. Kind of looked into it. But, I mean, that's kind of interesting. I was big into that when I was a kid. After that, they also got a casino outside of town, so that's a plus. Southeast of town, you have the Lake of the Arbuckles, which there's a lot of recreation stuff going on there, too. So this is, you know, pretty nice place if you like to be outdoors and live cheaply. The cost of living here is, you know, rock bottom, and it's not a bad place to live. The housing's affordable also. I've never been a big fan of Oklahoma, so, you know, this place has got to be pretty good if I'm putting it at number 1 on a list.
I think I'd like to give Oklahoma a try, mate.
Yeah.
Would you consider it southern?
I probably would, yeah.
I would say so, because if you meet someone from Oklahoma, I bet they sound like proper southern.
Yeah.
I'm one of them, mate, where when you go Oklahoma, I've been to Oklahoma, but not only for work, like for a day. Yeah. So I went in, but when you want to go in, it's the first thing that always springs to mind with certain places, and tornadoes comes to mind with Oklahoma, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, as soon as you think of anything with like certain states and certain things, you always something goes straight into your head. Imagine if someone says something about England, first thing that goes to their head, Big Ben.
Tea and crumpets.
Or red buses, red double-decker buses type thing. Don't know, but it's there's certain things that go into your head, and Oklahoma, to me, it just says tornadoes.
Yeah.
But I do want to go.
Yeah.
It's somewhere I will put on the bucket list to go and visit Oklahoma one day.
Yeah.
But then places like that is where I want to go.
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily want to go to the big cities. I've done a lot of big cities.
Yeah.
I want to do little towns and see what it's all about with the locals.
Hang out with the locals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's. That's where you learn more.
What if the locals don't want to hang out with you, though?
I'll move on.
Yeah.
I get out of town. I get on my horse and go out of town. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget like and subscribe.
Yeah.
See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.